Walking through the city, tall buildings and extravagant sights to look at. Feels like a dream, right? Of course, besides the immense amount of smoke that emits into the air, the littering, the stuffy crowd, and traffic, at least you'll be able to get cute pictures for your Instagram.
The Industrial Revolution was a rapid transformation of societies from agrarian to industrial, improving life quality but causing immense environmental damage through resource exploitation, long-lasting pollution, and emissions into the atmosphere. The start of environmental distress goes back to the industrial era. Exploitation of resources, which included iron, coal, and steel, led to the intense resource extraction from colonies. These fossil fuels powered industries but caused severe pollutions that most cities would become covered in black smoke and dust, leaving lasting climate changes. The maintenance of factories have caused the environment due to the continuous smoke and pollutants, which then later on impact our water supply. Water pollution is a severe consequence of people dumping waste into bodies of water, threatening biodiversity and contaminating ecosystems. These greenhouse gases were released as a result of increased fossil fuels consumptions, normalizing air pollution, and driving climate change.
Bigger, grander skyscrapers, more efficient factories, and more products being mass-produced. The world goes through many different changes to modernize itself. However, the world also continues to grow hotter every year, and the effects that come with urbanization and industrialization are unignorable. We've all heard of carbon footprints before, but did you know that there are actually 5 different types of ecological footprints in total? First one is agricultural footprints, which is the use of land and resources for crop production and livestock. Second one is fisheries footprints, known as primary production consumed by marine species. Third is the construction footprints, which is land for infrastructure, transportation, and industry. Carbon footprints, this is the total greenhouse gas emissions. And lastly, forest land footprints, this is the impact on forest cover. Now these are important to cover because of how these footprints are left by the human population. Human development has been seen to be linked with industrialization and urbanization, which ultimately leads to increased resource demands, environmental destruction, habitual loss, and a mass production of waste. Specifically focusing on urbanization, urbanization is the transportation of unoccupied land into densely occupied cities. This could occur from increased population and as well as industrialization. The results of urbanization are often devastating to the environment, especially looking at the long-term effects. Human activities increase pollutants into the atmosphere, including burning of fossil fuels and releasing industrial waste. Habitual loss or deforestation leads to a decreased population of species and also biodiversity. This endangers animals and could risk extinction. Increased transportation brings more invasive species, disturbing the balance of the environment. Increased regional temperatures. Cities experience higher temperatures due to the use of dark-colored materials, which increases sunlight absorption. The speed of water cycles is also disturbed as the loss of plants decreases the amount of transpiration, a process where plants release water from the pores of their leaves. The list could actually continue beyond this, but the point is clear. The growth of civilizations have been beneficial to some degree for mankind, but it is impossible to ignore the consequences that come with disrupting the natural environment.
Let's take a look at some examples of environmental strain. In Beijing, a nuclear plant explosion destroyed a testing factory with the radius of the explosion reaching nearby homes, killing at least 5 people and 19 injured. The company in issue was Gaoming Youdai Chemical Co., which many speculate is working with the government due to the fact that this is not the first explosion from that company. The National Ministry of Emergency Management recorded 21,800 incidents and 19,600 deaths by 2024. Not only corruption, the gas that seeped through the air was seen as dirt yellow and smelled insanely horrid, spoken by a student witness walking home from school. Many students were given masks and were instructed to not remove them at all costs in case the fumes were toxic in any possible way. Many people online and adults have seen this not only as a health hazard, but as an environmental issue with the airborne particles and the possibility of literally setting the sky ablaze. If the fumes are toxic to humans, imagine the toxicity it is for the environment. Moving on to the second example, In England, water infrastructure in Britain is aging, with much of the sewer system over 40 years old, increasing the risk of urban flooding and pollution from untreated sewage. During this September, it was recorded to have record-breaking rainfall, which only contributes to push overstretched drainage systems to the max. The UK Environment has announced that parts of eastern England would face water drinking shortages in the next 10 years if England's water reservoir projects aren't fast-tracked. The mass population growth in 2024 was driven by natural increase and migration of over 400,000 people in 2024, which pushed demands for more water and prevent slower response for when climate change arrives.
In the pursuit of progress, humanity has built cities that reach the clouds, factories that never sleep, and systems designed to sustain billions. But with every step forward, the environmental cost has grown heavier. What began during the Industrial Revolution to transform human society has become a defining challenge of our time. Air thick with emissions, water tainted with waste, and ecosystems stripped of balance, these are no longer distant consequences. They are the reality we live in. The events in Beijing and England are not isolated incidents. They are simply symptoms of a large global pattern. As urbanization expands and resource demands rise, the strain on our environment intensifies. Ecological footprints, from carbon to agriculture, this is a reminder that every action leaves a mark. The future depends on how we respond to the legacy we've inherited and the responsibility we hold now.